So day 5 of the going ham at coding mode. I continue to sleep on the couch, which, though it seems weird since I have a bed right upstairs, it makes sense just to oh, I'm going to take a quick nap. There's something about the physical relation between where I'm getting work done here and the couch that makes it easier to, oh, I'm just going to take a quick nap. Okay, cool. I'm going to take a nap. As soon as I get up, okay, work. I was listening to a podcast from the Tony Robbins podcast, and he used the phrase that proximity is power. And I've seen that in a different context, like out in the field, where oftentimes kids that when they graduated, most of the time they didn't go back home. They went to a secondary therapeutic program, and a large part of that is environmental. If you go somewhere and you make progress and you're doing great, but then you go back home where the problem started, then oftentimes people, and it's not just those kids, anyone, you tend to fall back into old habits, old patterns when you're in that same environment. So that idea of my environment with what I'm trying to get done, this new mindset of invest as much time as possible in getting this done. It's one of those seemingly weird, but so far it works, and it's a comfy couch too, so that helps. But that has that has persisted, sleeping on the couch. Normally, and it's weird because when I first started trying to start this, I tried to work from home, and yet I couldn't. I was not as productive as I needed to be. Now, I don't know if it was the experience of trying to find a second job, or not a second job, but trying to find a part-time job that put me in a state of desperation. But I was able to sit here and power through. I've actually noticed that my focus, my ability to do that here on day 5 is not as strong as it was. It's slowly getting easier for me to lose focus and oh, let me see what so-and-so is doing on Facebook, or let me look up some YouTube video. By and large, I've still been fairly consistent with spending the vast majority of my time here, aside from last night. In the evening, I don't know what it was, but I was just out of it, and sat here and watched a movie and played some video games. Which in and of itself isn't bad, but I spent more time doing those than I should have. That was the big problem. Because, taking a break to, I don't watch a lot of TV, at least not anymore. And so to watch something every now and then, once or twice a week, I don't think it's a big deal, but I certainly spent more time, 4 hours. No bien. I've taken a break from the online course to learn the Node.js that I've been taking. I'm a week ahead in the class anyways, and just currently stuck on a problem that I haven't found any useful information online for. So I'm just kind of taking a break from that and using what I have learned and applying it to what we already have for the site. And tried to copy and paste, because a lot of what I've learned thus far is pretty much directly applicable to what I need, to what we need for the site. Tried to copy and paste it, but as I had to start making changes to fit my specific needs, stuff started going wrong. So instead of that approach, basically taking baby steps, which is always the correct approach, in coding at least, unless you like know for damn sure what you're doing and you just know exactly what you're doing because you've already been doing it for like at least 2 years or something. Since I'm still learning it, the baby steps of like forming one file at a time, making one change at a time, checking it after almost every change that you make to make sure that it in fact works. That's the current approach, and I've currently figured out some stuff that I need, and I'm just focusing on a particular part of the page since the rest of the web dev team have been focusing on other areas. I myself am focusing specifically on managing the trail pages and figuring out the appropriate way to take all the content we already have, put it in a database, because you can't do that directly. You can't just like copy and paste the files over. You have to do it through the web browser, which means it's a little bit more hassle. But on the other hand, it's good to know how to do that, because then I could just construct a web page that will allow anyone and everyone to upload that information. Probably have it, yeah, that would come once I can add user accounts, so only users would be able to do so. And like if anyone's screwed with that, I could disable the ability for them to upload trails to help manage, what gets posted. But yeah, the past 5 days I've spent 80 to 90% of my time right here in this chair, just going ham, trying to figure this stuff out. And there is a path. It's just a matter of what's the word? Not just a matter of figuring it out. I mean, obviously, it's the biggest part, but it certainly is taxing increasingly on my patience and my overall hope for this to get off the ground. And everyone I've talked to, as I've talked to friends and family, they've all been very supportive, which I really appreciate. It's still... I had this question going into all of this, whether or not like borderline... I think borderline depression within the context of this, of this pursuit, not overall like my life in its entirety. So it's but just sort of this like what is so commonly described as these like dire circumstances. Like, is that necessary to start a business? Is that just the gauntlet that everyone has to run? At least if you're being a startup. Then it seems like, yeah. Anything else I do in the future, I will probably seek investors. to help expedite some of this process. But it is what it is, and nothing, whatever comes of it, gave it a shot. So, but the plan is to succeed, and so we continue marching onward and upward, one freaking baby step at a time.